The Young and the Restless spoilers for Thursday, December 19, place Sharon, Nick, and Phyllis in a position of having to reassess everything they thought they knew, and everything they were planning to do next. Sharon was delighted when Alan hypnotized her into remembering that she was not the one who drove Phyllis off the road. It was a mystery truck driven by a mystery person who fled the mystery scene of the crime. So now all they have to do is find him or her. How hard could that be? In any case, Sharon is now prepared to defend herself in a way she wasn't before, so that's a step in the right direction. And Nick, of course, will be there for her every step of the way, which is why they both walk straight into danger. Phyllis has known for a while that it wasn't Sharon who caused her accident. But why let the truth get in the way of a good story? Especially if said story sends Sharon to prison and allows Phyllis to do a victory dance while taunting, "Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha," at the top of her lungs. All in the name of truth, justice, and Phyllis' beloved children. This is all for Daniel and Lucy after all. Of course, Phyllis may need to amend her revenge plan just a tiny bit. Sharon is still awful, and Phyllis is still amazing, but she'll need to tone down the rhetoric just a smidge. Nate told Amy that he decided to search for Damien, which meant hiring private detective Denise. Thanks, Nate. Could Amy not have done that on her own? Damien isn't hiding from the law or working particularly hard not to be found. So odds are he should be headed to Genoa City any day now. Hey everyone, welcome back to Radiant Serum. I'm Aubrey, and I hope your day is shining bright. Thank you for joining me. Let's jump right into today's video. For the Thursday, December 19 episode of The Young and the Restless, spoilers photos show Nate and Amy getting a helping hand, and Sharon working to unlock her hidden memories. It's a huge day for Sharon. She invites Alan into the cottage to be put under hypnosis and figure out what really happened the day Heather was murdered. Will Alan help Sharon unlock her memories and discover the truth about who was actually involved in Heather's death? With Nick and Michael watching on, Alan starts to work his magic. While Sharon works through the puzzle in her mind, Daniel meets up with Phyllis at Society. Phyllis wants nothing more than to get revenge against Sharon for taking Heather's life. But that's more a conversation for when they get home to Lucy than at a crowded restaurant. Will Phyllis ramp up her grand plans when they get to the apartment and see just how upset Lucy is? Over at Crimson Lights, Nate and Amy meet with Denise Tolliver as the search for Damien begins. Will the private investigator soon find leads to the whereabouts of Amy's missing son? Poor Amy is desperate to find him before her time runs out. The holiday spirit is alive and well in Genoa City, and things are heating up between Claire and Kyle on The Young and the Restless. Their chemistry is undeniable, and with Claire getting cozy in Kyle's bedroom, it's clear their relationship is moving faster than a sleigh on Christmas Eve. Could a major holiday surprise be in store for Kyle this year? What's more festive than a gift under the tree? How about Claire presenting Kyle with a tiny box containing the ultimate life changer, a positive pregnancy test? We can picture the scene now, a romantic holiday dinner, candles flickering, and Claire sliding the wrapped package across the table with a knowing smile. As Kyle unwraps it, he'll find not just a test, but the beginning of an entirely new chapter. Claire could find out about the baby after feeling under the weather and taking a quick trip to the doctor. What starts as a moment of anxiety could turn into a blessing in disguise. This baby would not only fulfill Claire's lifelong dream of becoming a mom, but would also solidify her connection to Kyle, creating a bond that even the icy winds of Genoa City couldn't break. Of course, not everyone handles shocking news the same way. While Claire beams with joy, Kyle could freeze like a snowman, unsure of how to process such life-altering news. After all, this isn't just another ornament for the tree. This is a new baby. But let's not forget, Kyle is a family man at heart. He missed out on the early years with Harrison, so the idea of being there from day one might grow on him. Midnight feedings and baby milestones. Kyle just might find himself embracing the joy of fatherhood all over again. Unfortunately, not everyone will be singing carols about this news. Enter Summer, who is unlikely to let this happy moment pass without stirring up a blizzard. Claire may think this baby will strengthen her bond with Kyle, but Summer could see it as a reason to go on the offensive. Christmas may be merry for Claire and Kyle for now, but a storm is brewing, and it has Summer's name all over it. Christmas Con was held the weekend of December 13th-15th, and SoapHub was there to cover all of the action. Check back daily leading up to Christmas for new content from your favorite soap stars and actors from Hallmark and Great American Family Channel. Today's interview is with the young and the restless Melissa Claire Egan, who portrays Chelsea on the soap. We got to learn about some of her holiday plans and what she would like Chelsea to get as a Christmas present this year. Hint, it involves a classic Christmas trope. If you are interested in attending Christmas Con 2025, tickets will go on sale January 3, 2025. A huge thank you to That's 4 Entertainment and the Praco Group for their partnership in bringing the stars to you. On the December 18 episode of The Young and the Restless, Victoria worried that Victor would get between Claire and Kyle due to how much he hates Jack over that time Jack saved Nikki's life when Victor couldn't. Nikki reassured her daughter that Victor would keep his distance, and maybe he will. But what if Victoria steps in to fill the void he leaves behind? Victoria admitted that she will always worry about Claire. She didn't get the chance to raise her daughter, so she has a lot of years to make up for. Victoria wants to be the perfect parent. And who's the most perfect parent that Victoria knows? Why, Victor, of course. He has told her that over and over and over again. So what choice does she have but to believe it? At the moment, Victoria thinks the right thing to do is to support Claire's relationship with Kyle. But what happens when Victor gets into her head? Victor always eventually gets into Victoria's head. We don't blame Victoria for being overprotective with Claire. Theirs is not a typical mother-daughter relationship. She wants to do what's best for Claire, but Victor does not think that Kyle is best for Claire. He's told Victoria, Nikki, and Claire that. Victoria is feeling very vulnerable right now, and when she feels vulnerable, she automatically reverts to Victor's authority. Nikki told Victoria that Victor wouldn't do anything to break up Claire and Kyle. She may have been telling the truth because that honor may fall to Victoria. Nikki knows her husband well, and she knows her daughter well. Even more important, Victor knows the power he has over his daughter. He can confidently swear not to lift a finger against Claire and Kyle. Because he is such a good manipulator, he can convince Victoria to do his dirty work for him, without so much as mentioning it to her. Soap actors are busy. Their days are packed with filming. Such is the case for the young and the restless star Jason Thompson. He carved out extra time from his busy schedule to focus on his passion. He took fans along with him. Buckle up because it's going to be a bumpy ride. Thompson reposted a video from Rancho West Organic Beer, which featured him in their latest footage on Instagram. When he's not playing bad boy Billy Abbott on Y&R, he has a need for extreme sports. Thompson went for beers and dirt bikes with his friends. He had to set aside time to make this magical moment happen. Life can be busy, sometimes even hectic. It can be tough to carve out any extra time for our passions, Thompson explained. Yet these moments spent with friends, laughing and eating dust, enrich our lives in every way. The soap star wouldn't have it any other way. It was worth it. Thompson hit the desert with his friends. They visited the new charging outpost in Joshua Tree, where they had a session at the Palm Springs Surf Club. The group got together for beers and good times. They also hit the surf, as evidenced in the video. They also had good digs. Thompson thanked Ace Hotel Palm Springs for the warm hospitality. He teased that more was to come. Cheers to the friends who make it all possible. Here's to more adventures ahead. Stay tuned and join us. Thompson concluded his Instagram post. My and our fans flocked to the post to share their thoughts. Most of them were revved up by his extreme passion. One user commented, "This looks epic." Another user noted, "That's awesome." A third user simply summed it up as life's simple pleasures. It doesn't matter what you do. What matters is the company you keep. Thompson was stoked to spend time with the guys. Chelsea Lawson has had a very checkered past on The Young and the Restless. Over the years, we have seen many shades of her character, the good, the bad, and the straight-up evil. However, in recent times, she has really tried to pull herself together and walk a straight path. She did fall off the straight and narrow momentarily when she slept with Adam Newman in Maryland. But that was something that happened in the heat of the moment, and not because she was trying to cheat on Billy. Neither did she have any malicious intentions. However, it seems that a shift is about to come for Chelsea. Lately, the character has become sort of boring. It is a far cry from the fiery Chelsea that we loved watching. Most fans have started to crave more from her. Not too long ago, we saw Chelsea endure a major mental health torment, and Melissa Claire Egan was phenomenal as Chelsea in that storyline. Thus, a lull patch after such a high is really disappointing. Perhaps it could be time for Chelsea to embrace her dormant bad girl personality on The Young and the Restless. When we say this, we don't mean that she should become full-blown sinister. We understand that she has matured up in recent years and is a responsible mother to Connor. Yet, there is scope for her to shed the dullness and bring back some kick into her character. Actress Melissa Claire Egan recently posted some BTS pictures on her social media that featured her in some really cool and edgy wardrobe. We wonder if that's a hint towards a shift in her character. We saw something similar recently on B&B with Luna Nozawa. When her sinister side started to surface, her wardrobe choices shifted from light shades to dark leather jackets and jeans. The Young and the Restless is one of the most popular daytime soap, and it is no fluke that is so relevant to viewers even after decades of coming into existence. The reason behind the soap's success is simple. It remains in tune with fan sentiment and continues to reinvent itself. However, one area where Y&R has continued to lack is not being able to create stories for younger characters. The last time we saw a hit storyline on The Young and the Restless with younger characters was with Noah and Ali. Unfortunately, even that fizzled out rather immaturely, and the characters were written off the canvas. However, the soap now has a unique opportunity to bring in some more young blood into the soap by snagging a very popular and available soap star. If you haven't guessed it already, we're talking about Avenhofer. The young star is popular for portraying Dex Heller on General Hospital. However, the curtains have now fallen for Dex. In an ongoing storyline, villain Cyrus Renault eliminates Dex to cover his own tracks. With the young police officer's death, his portrayer Evanhofer has exited the soap. In a recent chat with Soaps.com, Evanhofer stated that he would be open to doing another soap role if the character and storyline excited him. This means if Y&R acts fast and creates an interesting character for Aven, the actor could get on board. He already has a wide fan base, so he would bring newer audiences to the show, which is an additional win. Besides, we feel there is some major scope for a new male character on the soap. Currently, Y&R is gearing up for a love triangle between Summer, Kyle, and Claire. While it appears as though Kyle only has eyes for Claire at the moment, things could change in time. Many fans feel that Kyle and Summer belong together and that eventually they will reunite. If that happens, young Claire will be left alone. And for how long can an eligible character of age remain single on a soap? Latest Young and Restless spoilers for Monday, December 16 through Friday, December 20. Sharon's big risk may pay off as she and Nick make a shocking discovery that leaves him worried for her safety. Elsewhere, Claire starts a happy new chapter, while at the Abbott Manse, it's time for a holiday walk down memory lane. But not everyone in Genoa City is feeling jolly, as Ian urges Jordan to do things that will definitely land her on the naughty list. In today's recap, Sharon finally remembers something important, but Ian is ready to just do away with her entirely. Sharon takes a big risk to prove her innocence, and what could possibly go wrong with Alan leading the hypnosis session. Although Phyllis doesn't really require a push in this particular direction, Billy nonetheless encourages his partner in plotting to make a bold move. Popcorn alert. Ian today reveals details about his past with Jordan. We can't wait to hear how the gruesome twosome first crossed paths. Young and restless intrigue ahead. Phyllis and Billy's plot against Victor, Sharon's hypnosis reveal, and Nate's new bad boy big brother. If Billy's planning to use Jack in his plan to get revenge on the mustache, he is bound to be frustrated when his brother stands his ground. Tasked with the relaunch of Jabot Classics, Diane vows to prove herself at the family company. Nate and Amy ask Denise Tolliver to help find Damien. Could the very shocking discovery made by Sharon and Nick put them on a path toward clearing her name once and for all? Phyllis had her whole scheme laid out before her, but she's about to make a few key adjustments. Something tells us this could prove problematic. Tessa, watch out, you're walking straight into a trap. As if Jordan doesn't already deal from the bottom of the proverbial deck, Ian suggests that she's not playing dirty enough. Daniel does his best to keep up appearances, if only for the sake of daughter Lucy. As things spiral further out of control all around them, Nick can't help but worry about Sharon's safety. Will him playing hero finally lead to a reunion for the longtime super couple? Ian and Jordan's reign of terror has already claimed the life of Daniel's love, Heather Stevens, and it looks like there are more casualties to come on Young and Restless as they ramp up their revenge plots in the coming days and weeks. In addition to Heather's death, which appears at this point to have been collateral damage in Ian's master plan, Sharon was also harmed when Jordan laced her medication with PCP, and her life turned upside down as a result. Even worse, Ian has now told Jordan he wants Sharon dead, and the duo has set their sights on both Claire and Mariah, with Ian eyeing Tessa as a means to an end. With Nick Newman foiling their plans left, right, and center, he's in danger as well. For that matter, anyone connected to the Newmans could potentially find themselves in the line of fire. What we know for certain is that Ian and Jordan are set to claim another victim. How do we know? Young and Restless has cast Rachel Bell, who has appeared on the soap in the past, as well as on Days of Our Lives, to play an EMT. Yes, folks, it's only a matter of time until the 911 call comes in. Saying she was incredibly grateful to have had the opportunity to work with Connor Floyd, who plays Young and Restless resident cop Chance Chancellor, Bell announced her appearance on her social media account, accompanied by a photo of the pair grinning ear to ear on the ranch set. Which of the aforementioned potential targets will be hurt by Ian and Jordan's latest move? The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates reveal daytime television is about to get a whole lot more thrilling with the dynamic duo of two of its most notorious villains. When you bring together powerhouse performers like Ray Wise and Colleen Zink, you can expect an explosion of drama, and perhaps a few cocktails along the way. The Young and the Restless spoilers, a match made in hell. The captivating duo was interviewed to explore their on-screen chemistry, the fun they have behind the scenes, and what lies ahead for Genoa City's most notorious pair. When discussing their roles as Ian Ward and Jordan, the actors expressed that their partnership felt like it was meant to be. "We had never crossed paths before," Zank shared. Wise added with his trademark wit, "She hit me with her energy all at once." Wise continued, "I instantly recognized her as my type of actor, imaginative and just a tad dangerous." Their shared respect laid the groundwork for a collaboration that Zank described as magical, noting, "It's not often you encounter this kind of theatrical adventure on television." My and our spoilers. Broken glass behind closed doors. Fans experienced a nail-biting moment between Ian and Jordan as he playfully dangled a bottle of vodka in front of her, reminiscent of how Victor Newman had done months earlier. The scene escalated quickly, culminating in Jordan throwing the bottle at Ian. "Oh yeah, that rings a bell," Wise laughed, while Zank admitted, "I shoot so many scenes in a day that I completely forgot about it until you mentioned it." These moments highlight the duo's talent for keeping audiences captivated, as Wise further teased their characters' tumultuous dynamic. Let's just say, when two villains find themselves in a single motel room, things can get messy, especially with only one bed to share. The Young and the Restless spoilers, devilish disguises, and insane plans. Ian and Jordan have taken their scheming to new heights, slipping into disguises to blend into the bustling streets of Genoa City. A particularly memorable moment unfolded at Crimson Lights, where Ian had his sights set on Maria Copeland. When questioned about future interactions, Wise flashed a playful grin, revealing his intentions. "I enjoy stirring the pot with everyone. Ian doesn't have favorites." On the other hand, Zank's Jordan is openly expressing her contempt for Kyle Abbott, especially since he's been charming her dear Claire Newman. Jordan is fiercely protective. She was Claire's everything, and now she's been usurped by an Abbott. Unacceptable. Zank teased, suggesting that some thrilling drama is on the way. My and our spoilers. Redemption is not in the cards. When the topic of redemption came up, the actors chuckled at the notion. "Redemption for Ian Ward, not a chance," Wise remarked with a grin. "Our focus is on retribution. Everyone in Genoa City better watch their backs." Zank chimed in playfully. "Retribution definitely sounds like more fun." They even joked about a potential spin-off featuring Ian and Jordan. "We'd call it Old and Restless," Wise quipped, "but honestly, any storyline that lets me work with Colleen is a win." For now, fans can anticipate even more drama, deception, and dark humor from Genoa City's most nefarious duo. As Zank put it, "We're just getting warmed up." The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Jordan made sure Sharon Newman's meds were tainted with PCP for Ian Ward. However, Ian wasn't too pleased when Nick Newman had the medication tested. Ian was furious over Jordan's sloppiness. However, Phyllis Summers is acting just as crazed as Sharon was during the killer storyline. Could Ian and Jordan have drugged Phyllis as well? The Young and the Restless spoilers, Nick Newman's gut instincts. My and our spoilers reveal that even though Chance Chancellor is a seasoned detective, he didn't handle Heather Stevens' death investigation very well. Chance never really questioned Sharon thoroughly, even after she was busted breaking into Phyllis' hotel room. Even about Heather's murder, Sharon gave Chance lies, and he never bothered to follow up. It was because of Nick that Sharon realized she might not be truly responsible for the crimes. Nick got Sharon's old medication out of the trash and asked Chance to have it tested. When the results came back, Chance gave them to Michael Baldwin. When Michael shared with Sharon and her loved ones that the meds were laced with PCP, it was a game changer. Now Sharon is getting hypnotized by Alan Laurent. Fans watched as Sharon was asked about Phyllis' accident. Although some fans expected Alan to get right to Heather's murder, the psychiatrist likely wanted to start slow. If Sharon freaks out too badly during hypnosis, her memories might completely shut down. Alan is going to hypnotize Sharon again, which could lead to more clues. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that when Ian was out in Genoa City, he overheard Maria Copeland talking to Tessa Porter and Claire Grace Newman about Sharon's case. What Ian overheard was that Sharon's meds were tainted, although they didn't know how, by whom, or why. Once Ian learned this intel, he went back to the motel room. That is when Ian told Jordan what he learned and got after her for the sloppy outcome. My and our spoilers. Phyllis Summers drugged it? Over with Phyllis. She keeps acting way crazier than usual. Sure, Phyllis is mourning Heather, but she knows Sharon wasn't the one who ran her off the road. One would think that Phyllis would want the right person held accountable. Instead, Phyllis just wants Sharon to pay. Even after Sharon confessed, it still wasn't enough for Phyllis. It's not exactly clear what Phyllis expects Sharon or anyone else to do. It's not like you can force the judge to hear your case early. At least, Sharon was determined to go straight to prison until she learned about the PCP. Phyllis keeps jumping up and down, screaming like a rabid banshee to anyone who will listen. Phyllis keeps going into Sharon's business, and then rants about running into her. Phyllis has always been intense and extreme. Phyllis is also known for her explosive reactions to everything. However, even this goes a bit beyond what is normal for Phyllis. Could Sharon not be the only Geno City resident to be drugged? Is that why Phyllis is acting crazier than usual? With Ian and Jordan, anything is possible. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most? Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, December 18 promise some interesting bombshells that are about to be dropped in Geno City. Two siblings take a walk down Christmas memory lane, while someone gets support from an unexpected friend, and a mom hands out some words of wisdom. What kind of drama is set to unravel on Wednesday? Time to dive right in. The Young and the Restless spoilers, Abbott family Christmas past. E&R spoilers for Wednesday, December 18 note that Tracy Abbott and Jack Abbott will take a walk down memory lane as they remember some fond moments from Christmases that have passed. Will there be some fun old video flashbacks to accompany this? Fans will have to wait and see. Speaking of Jack, and our spoilers for Wednesday, December 18 suggest his wife, Diane Abbott, will get some support from someone unlikely. Diane is all in when it comes to launching Jebot Classic, a company Jack has given her to lead in light of her walking away from Jebot's CEO spot, so that Kyle Abbott could step into that role. Will Billy Abbott be the unlikely ally to throw her some support? Of course, Billy has an ulterior motive in wanting some help with bringing Victor Newman down. So will his words of encouragement be genuine or all part of a plan to get Diane to help him? The Young and the Restless spoilers, Nikki Newman offers advice. Lastly, and our spoilers for Wednesday hint that Victoria Newman will have a lot on her mind and turn to Nikki Newman for advice. Looks like the Newman matriarch will offer her daughter some words of wisdom, as she always does. However, will these words provide comfort or possibly add to Vicky's stress? Are you excited about Wednesday's show? The Young and the Restless spoilers and updates tease Jordan and Ian Ward are far from done with their plans. To kick things off, Ian will urge Jordan to take action, as he has his sights set on ensuring that Sharon Newman leaves this world for good. The Young and the Restless spoilers, recovering that which they lost. We know that both Jordan and Ian are intent on recovering that which they lost to the Newmans. Even though, truth be told, it wasn't really theirs to begin with but stolen. They are setting their sights on Mariah Copeland and Claire Newman as their scheme intensifies. Ian had someone steal Mariah, while Jordan stole Claire. Jordan has already made it clear that she intends to take down the Newmans, so it's unlikely she'll abandon that mission anytime soon. Ian shares a deep-seated animosity towards the Newmans as well, meaning there are numerous family members who could easily get caught up in the chaos ahead. However, if they want to avoid a swift return to prison, Jordan and Ian can't just brazenly commit crimes in broad daylight. They have to make a plan. And our spoilers, the prime opportunity. What they really require is the perfect chance to carry out the rest of their nefarious schemes shrouded in darkness. While Jordan and Ian could simply make their final moves under the cover of night, What if Y&R presents them with an even more advantageous route to reach their goals? The show has previously explored ice storms and snowstorms, so perhaps it's time to revisit that theme. It's not hard to envision some weather-related chaos unfolding in the upcoming weeks. Such events could lead to power outages or even a citywide blackout if the situation escalates. The young and the restless spoilers, just think what they could do. Just think what Jordan and Ian could cook up to execute their plans if an ice storm took down power in Genoa City for an extended period of time. Of course, they'd have to find a way to survive it themselves, perhaps in a cabin roughing it with a fireplace. That would be an adventure. That way, they could reclaim their daughters after possibly committing some slaughters, and no one would ever have to know except Mariah and Claire, of course. But with a good possibility of phone lines and cell phone towers being inoperative, they'd have one heck of a head start out of town. And with the electricity likely out, Mariah and Claire would simply disappear, although Jordan and Ian may set up a wild goose chase for the police to follow false evidence left behind. At the ranch house, Nikki told Victoria that Claire had proved herself as a Newman through and through, and she couldn't have been more proud of her. Nikki explained how well Claire did at work, noting that she could anticipate what Nikki was thinking and do it before she was asked. Nikki thought Claire reminded her of Victoria at that age. Victoria was happy to hear it and noted that she wanted Claire to have a full life. They remembered how Jordan had controlled her for so long. Victoria worried that Claire had been fueled by anger for so long that all of these new freedoms would be too overwhelming. Victoria thought things were moving too quickly for Claire, and it was exciting and terrifying all at the same time. Nikki advised to let Claire do her thing and trust that she'd do the right thing and was on the right path. Nikki shared that Kyle was also looking out for Claire. Victoria worried that Victor would interfere with their relationship. Nikki noted that Victor let Kyle and Summer be together and that Kyle and Claire just seemed right. She was sure that Victor would come around. Nikki told Victoria that she spent a lot of time worrying about Victoria growing up as well, and she knew that Claire would find her way through just fine. Victoria appreciated her mom's advice. Tracy was delighted when she came downstairs and saw all the holiday decorating. In the Abbott dining room, she found Jack feeling emotional after he had come across a Christmas ornament that brought up some memories of his mom. He realized he had carried around all of his resentment towards her until just before Dana died. Jack mused that relationships were fragile, just like the ornaments. Jack thought that holding on to the past was a fatal Abbott flaw, and that breaking the cycle would have to start with him. Jack explained that he had a blowout with Billy and how resentful he was. Jack said that all he could think about was the years he'd spent holding on to so much resentment for their mom. Tracy agreed that she and Ashley had the same mixed feelings about Dana. Jack said he'd held in and carried around so much anger until right before she died. Tracy wondered if this was about worrying that he and Diane were losing Kyle. Jack thought they were back on track, but now he wasn't as sure. Jack told Tracy that Kyle seemed to be doubting Diane again. Jack didn't want to admit it, but he feared there was a deep-seated anger for Diane. He explained that the way they deceived Kyle may have unearthed a deep-rooted hatred that Kyle had hidden. Jack explained their intentions, but Tracy pointed out that Jack wanted to fix something else. Jack said that when Dina left them, he, Tracy, and Ashley built walls around them, holding anger and hurt inside. Jack didn't want his son to go through life feeling the same way. Jack noted that he didn't forgive his mother until the end of her life, and he didn't want that for Kyle. He deserves valuable time with his mother, Jack said. Tracy wondered if Kyle could see the similarities between his issues with Diane and Jack's with Dana. Tracy told Jack that whatever differences Kyle and Diane had, they would have to figure it out on their own, but he could tell Kyle that he empathized. Jack said Kyle's anger was justified, just like his anger had been toward Dina. Tracy suggested that Jack could guide Kyle to some sort of understanding about it all. Tracy encouraged Jack and gave him hope for the future, then told him she was going to bed. She suggested that he hang his ornament before he went to bed too. Jack poured himself a drink and had flashback memories of him and Dina. At Crimson Lights, Diane was a little down in the dumps. Esther noticed and chatted her up, noting that he considered herself the local bartender when it came to listening to people's problems. Diane said it would take a magic wand for the town to get over all the things she's done and believe she's truly changed. Diane confided in Esther about her family. She said they were the most important thing in the world to her, but didn't know how to prove that to them. Esther advised that she might be trying too hard. Esther noted that Mrs. C told her that people don't believe you if you come on too strong, especially when you're trying to convince them that you're being honest. She warned that the more she pushed, the more Jack and Kyle would pull away. Diane thought she was just destined to be distrusted in Genoa City. She thought that no matter what she did, people would throw her past in her face. Why don't you try doing the most selfless thing you can think of? Esther suggested. I thought I had. I stepped down so my son could have the job he wanted and deserved. Co-CEO at Jibba alongside his father, Diane told her. Esther said she meant a true sacrifice. Something that people will find impossible not to believe, Esther added. Esther told Diane she was a lot wiser than people gave her credit for. When you open your heart to people you care about and who care about you, most of the time, things work out, Esther advised. Diane said she had to think of the perfect selfless act that would give her Kyle's acceptance. At Society, Kyle and Claire met for dinner to celebrate her career change. Claire still felt insecure about the job and couldn't believe he had so much faith in her. He added that she amazed him and how she'd become so sophisticated and wise after all the stuff she'd been through in life. Kyle told Claire how great she was and how sure he was that she was meant for the position at Chancellor, and it was her destiny. Kyle and Claire hung out and talked and laughed. Kyle told Claire that he was genuinely amazed at how she had let go of her past without harboring resentment. Claire credited her therapist, but admitted there was anger deep down about being taken from her family and raised to hate them. She said she could manifest it if she fixated on it. But then Jordan wins, Claire said. She told Kyle she was robbed of her childhood with a family that actually loved her, and she didn't want to waste a single minute not being in the moment. Claire said she looked forward and thought Kyle should too. As much as I want it to be, I don't think it's that easy, Kyle told her. Kyle started to talk about his parents but didn't want to spoil their date. This is what couples do. They talk about the good and the bad, Claire said. Kyle noted that she called them a couple. He told her he wanted to be called her boyfriend, and Claire happily agreed to their titles. Claire told Kyle that his girlfriend was there to listen, so Kyle shared that still didn't feel like he could trust his mom. Kyle shared how Diane hadn't moved out of his office, and when she and Jack pretended to fight, she said a lot of things that seemed too real. Kyle thought it drummed up a lot of feelings he had buried. Kyle said he and Diane talked about it, but it didn't end well. Claire told Kyle she was very used to manipulative behavior and didn't feel he was getting that from Diane. Kyle said Jack just wanted him to forgive and forget and be one big happy family again. Kyle and Claire came back to Kyle's. Jack told Kyle he wanted to talk to him about something, so Claire headed home. She told Kyle she'd had a great evening as a couple and assured him he would work things out with his mom. Claire went to the ranch house and told Nikki and Victoria how much she loved her life. Inside, Kyle asked Jack what was bothering him. Jack explained he'd been thinking a lot about the past, letting go and moving on. Kyle admitted he and Claire had just been talking about that as well. Jack shared that he understood Kyle's feelings about Diane because he could relate to them. Kyle knew about Dina, but reminded Jack it was a different situation. Jack agreed and said he just wanted Kyle to know that he didn't judge him and that he was there to talk anytime. "I love you, Kyle. Your mother does too. We want to be a family again," Jack said. Kyle told him that he did too, but he couldn't just trust his mom overnight as it didn't have an on and off switch. He said he was working on it and thanked Jack for giving him time. Jack asked Kyle to hang the ornament for him and his grandmother. When Kyle asked how it looked while standing next to it on the tree, Jack told him it was perfect. At the ranch, Victoria and Nikki discuss how nervous Claire was for her first day. Nikki reports that she proved herself to be a Newman through and through. She couldn't be more proud of her. Victoria beams. She really settled in that quickly. Nikki says it's like she lives inside her head. Her drive reminds her of Victoria. Her daughter is excited for Claire and wants her to live a full life, but for so long she's been unable to act or think for herself. She worries that all of these freedoms might prove to be too overwhelming. Nikki fears she's being overprotective. Victoria's worried things are moving too quickly for Claire. She just got her back and she's losing her again. Nikki thinks Claire is on the right path. Victoria will never stop trying to protect her. Nikki smiles that Kyle's looking out for her too. Victoria's sure Victor will try to interfere. Nikki's unconvinced. They seem right for each other and in time, he will agree. At Society, Claire debriefs Kyle on her first day at Chancellor with Nikki. He's sure she can do anything she sets her mind to. Claire muses that she was following the script the last time she was Nikki's assistant. This time, it's just her proving herself. Kyle tells her to take the advice she gave Harrison and believe in herself. Claire smiles. She's amazed that he has so much faith in her. Kyle asks why he wouldn't. After all she's been through, he's amazed by her. This is her destiny, and he's sure she'll succeed. Kyle's in awe of her. Diane walks into Crimson Lights and Esther asks if she had a rough night. She replies that it's more like a rough lifetime. Esther knows this well. "I've got this. Take a seat." She brings over her favorite pick-me-up latte infused with holiday magic. Diane doubts even this can cheer her up tonight. Esther offers to listen to her vent. Diane appreciates the offer, but unless she can get people to forget her mistakes, she'll be living with her regrets for the foreseeable future. Diane goes over her doubts that Kyle and Jack trust her. They're the most important thing to her, and she needs to make them believe that. Esther says Mrs. C told her that people won't believe you if you come on too strong. She needs to stop pushing. At the Abbott manse, Tracy comes down the stairs and has a moment of sheer joy as she looks around at the Christmas decorations. Walking into the dining room, she complains that a stewing Jack has lost his holiday cheer. He thought holiday decorating would brighten his spirits, but then he found his Jackie ornament. Tracy laughs that it's seen a few things. She recalls that he made it with their mother. Jack's held onto the past the same way he's held onto the ornament. It may be a fatal Abbott flaw. Breaking the cycle will have to start with him. Tracy doesn't like seeing him down like this and asks if it has to do with Mother. Jack admits he had a run-in with Billy today. He resents him and the way he's treated him in the past. When he saw the ornament, it made him think of the resentment he had for their mother. Tracy had complicated feelings about her too, and so did Ashley. Jack muses that leaving them behind scared all of them. Tracy is also grateful for the time they spent with her at the end of her life. "You were so close to her." Jack laments the wasted time, anger, and fury. He carried it around and never let it go until right before she died. Tracy asks if this is about Diane and Kyle. Jack admits he's not so sure the situation between the three of them is resolved. Jack tells Tracy that Kyle has lingering distrust and deep-seated anger toward Diane. He's not sure it will ever go away. Tracy's seen love between them. Jack reminds her she left him as a little boy. He feels this whole situation is partly his fault. We lied to him. He recaps how they got him out of Victor's clutches by Diane playing a viper. It may have unearthed distrust toward his wife. Tracy feels there's something else Jack wants to fix. Jack recalls that after their mother left, they built walls around themselves. He doesn't want his son to go through life with the same anger and pain. Tracy tells him there's only so much he can control. Jack says Kyle deserves valuable time with his mother and freedom from the resentment he's carrying around. At society, Kyle and Claire banter. She compliments him and they kiss. Kyle genuinely is amazed at how she has let go of the past. How does she not harbor resentment? Claire says her therapist helped her see there's no point in hanging on to the past. Kyle says she was stolen. There must be anger. Claire can work herself up if she fixates on it, but then Jordan wins. Now that Claire has her family back in her life, she doesn't want to waste a moment. Kyle muses, "So, you're saying looking forward is a choice." Claire thinks he can do it too. Kyle isn't sure it's that easy. At the Abbott mansion, Tracy urges Jack to be honest with Kyle about what he's feeling and thinking. Jack tried to talk to him about the pain of abandonment, but when he expressed doubts about Diane, it upset him so much, he brushed it all away. Tracy says Diane and Kyle will have to work out their differences together, but Jack can tell Kyle he understands what he's going through. Jack muses that Kyle's anger at his mother is justified, just like theirs was. Tracy suggests he tell Kyle he's been there and is there for him to talk to. Jack knows he can't tell him his feelings are wrong. Tracy hopes he can guide him to some kind of understanding about it all. Jack asks, "What would I do without you?" At society, Claire senses something is bothering Kyle. He starts to open up about his parents, but then doesn't want to spoil their date. Claire says couples talk about the good and bad. Kyle teases her for calling them a couple. Claire says her grandmother called him her boyfriend. It's been on her mind. Kyle would like to be her boyfriend. Claire teases, "This date has been very productive." She tells him to talk. "Your girlfriend is here to listen." Kyle says he still doesn't feel he can trust his mom. He can't let go of the resentment. Claire learns she hasn't moved out of his office at Jibot. Claire reminds him that the job is his. Kyle says she said awful things during the ruse. They struck a chord. Talking to her about it didn't go well. Claire is familiar with manipulative behavior and doesn't think Diane is lying to him. Kyle tried talking to Jack about it, but he just wants him to forgive and forget. At the Abbott manse, Tracy tells Jack this will all work out. And don't worry about your feelings about the past. It's not a weakness, it's your superpower. Jack needed to hear that. Tracy hugs him goodnight and urges him to go hang his ornament. They express their love. Jack makes his way into the living room and pours a scotch. Getting a faraway look in his eye, he flashes through memories of his mother, Dina. At the ranch, Nikki tells Victoria that Claire has more strength than she realizes. Victoria doesn't want anything to happen to break her spirit. Nikki spent so many hours needlessly worrying about her, but she survived many challenges. You found your way through, and so will Claire. Victoria thanks her mom. "I love you." At Crimson Lights, Diane and Esther talk about Catherine's advice. Diane doesn't think changing her behavior will get her anywhere. She's tried to prove herself, but people throw her past back in her face. Esther suggests she do the most selfless thing she can think of. Diane thought she had when she stepped down from her job. Esther is talking about a true personal sacrifice that people will find it impossible not to believe. Diane thanks her for listening and for the advice. She needs to figure out the ultimate selfless act that will give her Kyle's complete acceptance and forgiveness. At the Abbott mansion, Kyle and Claire come in and find Jack in the living room. Kyle asks his dad if everything is all right. Jack will speak to him in the morning, but there's no reason to worry. Claire says she should go. Kyle walks her out. Outside the door, she gushes about being a couple and they kiss. She assures him he'll figure things out with his mom and walks off. Claire arrives at the ranch and Nikki and Victoria asks about her evening. She says it was amazing. Nikki says she gave her mother a glowing report about her first day at work. Claire beams, "I love my life." At the Abbott mansion, Kyle asks Jack what's bothering him. Jack admits he's been doing a lot of thinking tonight about letting go of the past and moving on. He wants him to know he understands his feelings about his mother. He's been there. Kyle knows he has, but it's still a different situation. Jack wants him to know he doesn't judge him for having doubts about Diane. "I am here to talk with you anytime you need to talk about it. I love you, Kyle. Your mother does too. We want to be a family again." Kyle can't just trust his mom overnight, but he will try. Talk turns to the decorating and Jack prompts Kyle to hang his ornament, "For me, and for your grandmother." Kyle says, "You've got it." Jack tears up as he watches Kyle add it to the tree. It's perfect, just perfect. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more updates. Your opinions matter, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.